Hi, welcome back. Um, in this tutorial, we will do something to this application, but using Scene Builder and controllers. This example was done previously using the employee data, but without using Scene Builder. You can watch that video in order to be able to follow up this one. So here I'm just adding a new customer. I can update the salary or update anything. I can delete any information. I can also clear selected data. If no data is selected, this will be disabled. The buttons here, update and delete, are only selected when something is already selected. If now nothing is selected, those buttons will be disabled. We will do the same example using Scene Builder. I'll go to my view package here. I first need to create a new XML document. I'll call it emp view scene. I'll select the border panel. Perfect. In this example, I can now go ahead and open it in Scene Builder. The file, open in Scene Builder. I'll be doing the layout quickly, and I have a finished layout that I'm going to use later. But let us now see what we're going to do. If we look at the application again, I'll keep it open. We have this application. We will put the combo box of all the departments on top, and we will put the table in the middle on the center, and we will put the employee panel at the bottom side. We also have a label here. The label shows you the result. Let us do some update. So here we see update, employee updated, green. If you put some wrong data, like here text, the label will show you error messages. So we'll keep this open. Let's go back to the Scene Builder. On top, I'll select a container first to put I'll select the H box and put it here on top. And let me make it wider here a bit. Okay. This is good. Okay. So on the top panel here, I'll put a combo box. I need to go to controls, combo box for the departments here on top. Okay, and I need a label for the status label, I'll call it. So I have two things here on top. I'll go to the center layer panel. I'll put a container for the table. I can select anchor pane here, put it in the center. In the anchor pane, I'll put a table view. I go to the container or to the controls, sorry. I search for table view. I put one in the anchor pane. I can go to the layout here of the table and do some settings for the width and edges of the table. I'll make it 10 from all sides, as you see here, if you look at it now, while I'm doing the changes. So the table is there now. At any time, if you want to manually change the size of the root panel, just click on the border pane here and drag those blue things. Okay, so now we'll take the lower one. Let us see what we have in the lower one. I have this one button, then label, then text box, label. So we have 3 text boxes, 3 labels, and 4 buttons. You don't have to order them the same way I'm doing here. We can create like either grid layout, flow layout, or any layout that is suitable. I will create here a flow layout. Let me go to containers. I'll create flow layout. containers, flow layout. Here is flow layout. I'll take it to the bottom. I will add items one by one. One more time. Button, label, and these things. You can reorder them at any time. So we'll have a button first for clear. Then we have a label for ID. You can put all of them together, like one label, second label, third label, and reorganize them later. I need 3 text fields. I'll go to text field here, drag them to the flow layout. Okay, and I still need 3 buttons, one for add, one for clear, one for update, one for delete. So all these things are now available in the bottom panel. If you think the layout is not the right choice, go ahead and you can change it even at any time. So let's go to the flow panel. Do some edge gap and V gap like 10. I'll do here also like 5 vertical gap. It's fine here now. I believe it's fine. And let us reorder them. Let's first give them titles and then reorder them. So the first button here, the text will be clear. Second label, it will be ID with colon. Third label will be name, colon. Fourth one will be salary with colon. The text fields, nothing in them, but you can put some kind of a prompt text. If you go click on the text field and you go to properties here, the prompt text is what to enter. ID, for example, name, and salary. These are only titles, have nothing to do with the data or attribute names. Finally here, salary. Okay, we'll go to the other 3 buttons. We'll add some text to them. Add. Second one is going to be delete. Third one is update. Okay, we can now reorganize them. You can either do this manually or from here from the tree panel. You see the flow panel here on top. You can click on it and you can see the items, all of them, or you can go one by one manually. Like if you drag the text box here, if you drag the other text box, and the third one is fine. No need to do anything with it now. I'll go back and make sure the size is fine. Now I'll go to the central panel. I can go to the central panel, take some more space for it. If it doesn't work, don't do it manually. You can do it programmatically later. So I'll just undo whatever I did now. Now I need to play with the columns. I have only 2 columns while my class has 3 attributes. You don't have to put them all, but if you want to put 3, you need 3 columns. So I'm dragging the third column to the table view. Let's go to the column by column and give them titles. This one, ID. It can be any text. Here, for example, write employee name instead of name. And third one will be salary. You can play with the sizes if you want, but you can set the width also from the properties there. You go to the column and you can see the properties, the layouts, and all other things here for the layout. Minimum width, prefer width, it's up to you, maximum width or something like this. So here we have all the items in our layout. We now need to give them names for FX controller to be able to handle the changes, the clicks, and those things. Of course, we don't need the labels in our class, handler, controller class, but I still need this label because this label will be programmatically accessed. We need to change the message. So let's now give them IDs. You can go one by one here from the combo box, first one. I can go to the code here. FX ID will be depths, combo. We will talk about actions soon. This label will be result or status label, LBL. and we'll go to the table view. The table itself, we'll call it emps view. We'll go to the columns one by one. I'll call it ID column. Second one, we'll call it name column. Third one, we'll call it salary column. Now I need to go to the bottom panel. The clear button, I'll call it clear btn. The text field here, I call it ID txt. The name, I'll call it name txt. And the salary text field, I'll call it salary txt. Add button, add btn. Delete button, delete btn. And update button will be update btn. So now I gave names to all the controls, but I still need to tell the controllers which method to run when we click on buttons or do some actions or mouse events. If I show you the application I did here, we need an event when we change the combo box. We need an event when we clear the data, and definitely we need one for add, delete, update. One more event is needed, which is a mouse event this time. That event is when you click on a row. When you click on a row, you need to show the details in the lower panel. So that event is a mouse event, and we'll see how to do it later. So now let's go to the combo box here and go to the combo code. I need here to create a method when you change the value of the combo, and we call it handle, for example, handle depth changed, handle department changed. And for the clear, I'll call the method handle clear changed. For the add, I can call it add a new employee. Delete, I can call it delete employee. And update will be update employee. I'll go to the table now. I click on the table view. Make sure you click on the table view. And let's see the events. So many events. One of them I need the mouse clicked, by the way. When you click on the mouse, as I showed you here, I need you to change the view. So you need to listen to the mouse click. You take the employee data and show it in these text fields. That's it. So handle mouse clicked will be, I'll call the method update view. So now I believe I did all the handler methods, mouse and action events. I can save. I can also preview my application. Maybe I need to go to the label here and remove the text. If you think the sizes and these things need to be changed, you can do this later. Whatever you change, the size and these things, does not have to do any changes to the code in your controllers. Let us see what we can do here. If we click the lower panel, for example, give it less space. If you go to the outer one, here, you can give more space, more width here to the outer one. It's up to you to change the layouts. This example is not about layouts. So here is our look, final look. One good thing is to tell the user what to do here on the combo box, like select a department. I go to the combo box. I go to the properties. We call it prompt text. I'll type select a department. So the user will see that message when nothing is selected. Like you see here now, when you start the application, you see that message displayed. Let me run this. If nothing is selected, you will see that prompt text message here, like select a department. So now we go to the controller. We still didn't create anything in the controller class, but we have all the user interface controls. We have the depth combo, status label, imps view, each column, the buttons, all the text fields. So we are ready to create our controller. You can type the name of the controller class here, or you can go and make sure it's available, and if you have it already. If you don't have it, make sure you know the package name. If you don't provide the package name, it's not going to work. So I'll put it in the view package here. I'll call it view. And I'll call it imps controller. So the class will be imps controller in the view package. Make sure you save. One final preview. You can come back and change whatever. I think I need to change the borders here, the padding, maybe for the lower one. For that, the hierarchy, we go to the flow panel here. I believe the left side is maybe. Let's go to the. Here we can have padding like 20 or 10 from top, 20 from left, 10 from bottom, and 20 from right here. Should be fine. Save. Let's make a preview now. I think this is neat. Close this. Now we have all the code needed here to create our skeleton, controller skeleton. So we go here to sample. Once again, if I did this quickly, we go to view, show sample controller skeleton. Still, this is incomplete, but you have all the methods, all the names of the controls, views, columns, all these things, but it's still incomplete. Copy paste all the code to the right package where you defined it. I'll just do paste here. Perfect. Okay, here's the name. I need just to import some kinds of action event, and I believe mouse event for the table change. Okay, let's go back and see here. We still need to fill them some informations here. The combo box will be of string, the depth department. The table view will be a table of employee. Okay, so you cannot do that in the scene builder. You need to do it here. Now for each column, we must specify the type of data and the class name. All of them come from the employee class. The type must be object, not primitive data type. So ID column is going to be, as you see here, this is my employee. ID is integer, name, and salary. Name is a string, salary is double. So let me go back to the controller. And here, the name will be string. Last one will be double. Again, double the object, not the primitive data type. Okay. So far, so good. Let me save now. Now, one important thing. What do you want to happen when you run your application? There are things that need to happen before you show your window. Like you maybe need to access your files, get some data from there, get department names, employee names, or whatever, or make a network connection. If you have anything that should be done before you show your window, you do it in a method called initialize. For example, in our application here, as you see, before we start, I want the user to be able to download all the department names and show them in the combo box. I'll show you another example we did before. Lab 12 in it here. We have another example, which is a countries app using scene builder also. In this example, the first thing we do is to get the continent names. So we need to get the continent names before we show anything. Then we can proceed further. So if you go to see the continent controller, you will find that we have a method called initialize. This method is very important. Anything you want to happen in the controller before you show your window, you need to make it available in the initialize method. So I'll go now and provide an initialize method. This one must have the same name. It must have the same name, otherwise it will not be called. So now this is our initialize method. So what do you want to do? I want to call my data manager, and hopefully you know data manager from our examples. To get all the department names. Those department names, I want them to be put in the combo box of the departments. So let's see here what we need to do. For example, initialize. I can create an observable list of string. I'll call it depths observable list. This will be converting the array list I get from my data repository handler or data manager, fx collections dot observable array list. And I'll show you now what to do. Okay, let us just import these things. And now, where is the data I'm getting from my data manager? Let me first, before we start here, I'm writing code outside the initialize. I can go here. I need just to define my data manager before that. Not here. Okay, we need a data manager. Here, everything to be in the controller. No code will be in the main app. The code in the main app will only be launching the view. So let me go here and add my data manager. Okay, DM. I can say equals new data manager, and that's it. Here, this is not the best way to do it. You can just create static methods and call them. So here is my data manager. So my data manager has a method called getDepartmentCodes. So I say dm.getDepartmentCodes. That's it. So now, the department codes will return an array list of strings. It will be converted to observable list. So the next step is to get this depths observable list to fill the combo box of the departments. So what you can do here is to say depths combo set items, and that's it. It will take the depths list. So now one of the first things that's going to happen is to fill the depths combo with the names of the departments or codes of the departments. This is one thing. The second thing is still I need to work with the table columns. Here I created the table columns and defined their type and gave them name. But I still need to do one more step, which is linking the column to the attribute or to the variable in our objects. If you go to our employee, I still need to link the column using the variable name in FX style. FX style is a kind of standard here. You need to copy paste the same code. If you go to the controller, for example, here, I'm going to go to another controller. Here, if you see the first thing I did here in this example, after getting the compo list of countries, I need to go and set self factory for each column, set it to the right variable name in the object. Here our object is employee. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this code. I'm going to go to the controller. And now I need to go to say to each column, first column I have is ID column. And to set it to which one? To the ID field. Second will be the name column, which will be linked to the name field. The name must match here 1,000,000%, otherwise it's not going to work. Salary column must match with the salary field. These names must match 1,000,000%, otherwise you're going to get an error. So now we have this data defined. Each column is defined to which field to be linked or to get the data from. Next, next, after linking the column to the right fields, I can download the all the employees from my data manager and set the table rows to all the available employees. I prefer to make a method here, a private method, since that method is needed from more than one place. So I'll call the method show all employees. This method is most probably going to be needed later. So show all employees. What we're going to do in that show all employees, here I'm going to make a method private void show all employees. I can now tell you what's going to happen. First of all, I need to create an observable list of, observable list of employees. So let me show you the code here. I'm just going to copy paste this to save a few minutes since I'm recording. Observable list of what? Observable list of employee. I'll call it emps observable list. Where I'm going to get this from? From our data manager. Okay, which method to call in the data manager should be known to you. Just get emps list here. Close this. One more. Okay. So now I have the employee list as an observable list. Now I need to fill them. I need the table to be filled with those employees. I just can say now, call the table. Here, the table name is emps view, the table view. I can call it emps view and dot set items and give it the employee list. At this moment, my table will be filled from the employee list retrieved from the data manager. Let's see now how we're going to run this. I'm going to create a main class here. The purpose or the use of the need of main class in JavaFX when you use Scene Builder is only to launch the XML file. So I'll call it emps app here. So emps app is very simple. I can copy paste it from any other class. It will be only launching a file. So if you go to any app here, there is only one main task to do in it, which is launching the view file. Of course, since you launch the view file, maybe this resource is not available. You either need to try catch it or use throws an exception in the declaration. So I'm going to copy all this method now. Here, I'm going to go back to my emps app, paste it. Okay, and I just need to change the name of the view file. So the name of the view file is going to be emp view scene. Emp view scene. If the name is wrong, you must rewrite it in a right way. Let's just launch it, see what's going to happen. Perfect. I have the combo here filled and also the department names and all the employees shown in the table. So let me review what happened. When I run this application, it will go to the controller. Okay, the controller is known by the view. The controller is going to let the view know that it's being initialized. So first thing is going to happen, this initialize method will be called. It will get all the department employees. It will department codes and fill the combo. It will link all the columns to each individual attribute in the employee class and call the show all employees class. I could have also made here like a method like fill private fill depth combo if you want your code to be combo and you can just get these things here, Control X, and call the method the first thing here. So I'm calling the fill depth combo, the first thing in the initialize, private void, And let me just format my code to look neat. So now, in the initialize, which is a very important method, the fill depth combo is called. All these things will be linked to the right attributes. Then show all employees will be executed. One more time, let's run this from the app, which is again not more than launching the file here. Okay, we see all the combos. Let's do some minor changes. In my previous example, I showed you, let us change this title, employee app, application, scene builder. Let's just go to the, show you a different example here, the same one I did before. Here, in addition to the departments, the existing ones, I add all. You can easily add any option. I add all, and later we'll need to show all. Let's see this now. How I'm going to add all. I'll go to the controller again. Fill depth combo. I will say here, depth combo. After you get all the... See, the depth combo is written... there is an error here. So I'll live with it for the purpose of the demo. I'll say get items, add all, and we will see all this later in a minute. But now we need to make sure that all is added. Let me run this. So all is added here to the end of the list. Here is all. Let's play with the first one. Let's play with the combo box. Whenever you change the department, you only select those employees from the selected department. So which method we selected in the scene builder? If you go to the combo box here, you go to the code, you know which method, handle depth change. Let's go there and do the code now. I'll go to the controller now, handle depth change, here. First, I need to get the name of the selected department. It's a string. You can say string selected equals depth combo. Okay, depth combo and get value, or get selection model, get selecting items if it's more than one. So now I have the value that has been selected. So I have a method to show only the employees in that department. But maybe the user selected all. So let's do both. I can say if selected dot equals ignore case all. This should be simple, even simpler. If it's all, I'll call the method that shows all employees. Best. However, else, I need to call the method that gets the employees of a certain department. So here's what to do now. I will make an observable list of employees and set the table view to the only selected them. So it will be the same code. However, I will get a smaller list from our data manager. I'll not do here get employee list. I will do get department employees, and I'll give it the selected department employees. And I need now to set the items of my table to the selected department employees. So if you select the combo box, if you select all, we will show all employees. We have done that method before. Otherwise, we'll call the get department employees from our data manager, which is going to return subset of our employees, and set the new items to the table. Whenever you make a new step, go ahead and test it. Okay, marketing, excellent. External relations and all. If you are wondering why it's not showing the same number, some employees are not in any department. So perfect, here it's working fine. Next method is, I want when you click in a employee here to show the details of the employee in the bottom panel. It's going to be very simple. It's a mouse click. You will extract the employee item, the record from the table view, which is very simple. Get selection modded, get selected item. Then you will set its values to the text fields here. So the method will be responding to the mouse click of the table view. Let's go to the controller now. Our controller is here. Okay, here, update view. First, I need to get the employee that was selected. Employee, I'll call it selected. Equals, our table name is emps view. Dot, get selection model, get selected item. It will return an employee. Why? Because it's a table of employees. If you don't do this, then it will not return an employee. If you go back to the table, it's a table of employee. So now we have the selected employee. The next step is to show the employee in the view. So I can make a method here, or I can do it directly here. I can say id txt dot set text, which is the id text field, set text to selected dot get id. Of course, this is not an integer, so maybe you need to do some kind of a string format, or to do value of string format, like you format it to %s or whatever. You format it the %d here, and then you get the ID. Let us see if this is going to work. But because you cannot directly put an integer in a text field, you must wrap it in a selected get ID. Okay, set text, selected, get ID. One more bracket is needed. Perfect. So I'll do the same thing now. But for the name, I don't do anything. Name txt dot set text. And set text will be selected employee. Get name, because it's text. The last one will be person2f or 3f. I will say get salary, which is salary txt. That is going to be a double. Salary txt field, set format, selected, and I will ask the employee about its salary, get salary. So now, whenever you click on a row, it will get the selected employee, set its values to the fields. Let us test this quickly. I'll go to the app again. Click here. Perfect. 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 We get the data directly. So whenever we click on an employee, we show the data here. Next one, I will do the clear. Clear will be used to clear the data here from the panel. Good. So I'll go and see the action performed here of a clear button clicked. I'll go directly to the controller and the clear button update or handle clear. Handle clear, I can say, I can call a method clear data or clear data. This method, why I'm handling it here, because I think I'll need it from more than one place. I think so. So I'll go and make a private method here at the end. A private void clear data. And this clear will be very simple. id txt dot clear, and same thing, name txt dot clear, and salary txt capital X dot clear. So here, whenever I call this method, it will clear all the data. Let's run this again. Test clear. Click here, clear, perfect. Click here, clear. Excellent. So let's now do add. Add, and we'll do delete. Okay. Add, let me clear. Once we click on add, what we need to do once we click on add? We need to get the ID, name, salary. wrap them in an employee object, update the view, and make sure you store it in our data manager to tell it to store it to the files. So let's go to the add first. It will take more than one step if you want to make it professionally. Here is add a new employee. So we need to get the employee object. I will use some kind of try catch because maybe the user enters wrong data. So let me show you this thing how it's going to work. I will call a method employee e equals get employee. This one will call a private method to get the employee. That method, I'll make it right here, private employee get employee. This one will do a lot of validation. Okay, so we'll say employee new is a reserved word. Okay, I'll call it emp equals null. Now I need to do try catch. Why? Because I may get some kind of number format exception. I will say integer id equals integer dot parse integer id txt dot get text. So this way I'm gonna get the text from the text field id and then cast it to integer data type. Second will be string name, which is going to be easy, name txt dot get text. That's it. The third one will be double salary, which is going to equal to double bars double and salary txt dot get text. So now I have all of them. If this is correct, there will be no exception. So we'll say emb is equal to new employee and new employee. This is the constructor. We have ID, name, and salary. We will return it later. Okay. Type. However, if we get any exception, catch number format exception and e, you need to tell us that there is a problem or something. Sysout e.get message. This is not the best way to do it, but at least now we are catching the exception. So now we return the employee. I need you to see that if the employee is still null, if the employee is still null, it means it's invalid and there has been some kind of exception. It came here and there has been some kind of exception because the employee is null first. So, so now we go back here to the calling method. I need to make sure the employee is not null before adding it. I'll say if e is not equal to null, then it's a valid employee. Now I can call the data manager and add it. So in this case, I'll just call the data manager and add it to our list. Here we can say dm.add employee. And we have E, which is not the best name, by the way. Let me change it, employee, and rename this here. Okay, and ask the data manager to save all data. Fine. What else I need to do? I need to also update my table. So how to update my table? Let's see. I maybe need to add this list to the table items. Let's see how this is going to work. The table name is emps view here. Okay. Dot get items, for example. Do we have get items? Dot add. So I'm adding the new employee to it. Let's see if this is going to work. However, else, there has been a problem. I can, for the time being, I'll just output this message, sysout error. Of course, we're going to get null from this function, from this method, in case you get any number format exception. Let's see if this is going to work. Let me run this. We have errors. Let's go back here to see where the error is. Here, the name is EMB, not employee. Let's run this. Okay. Updated, clear. Let me add a new employee. And the name is ABC testing. The salary is whatever. Add. Perfect. The name was added to the data and the list has been updated. Let me call A. This is ABC testing. Let me add a new one. Clear. I'll add a new one, 800. Name is XYZ testing. And the salary 987. Add a new employee. Perfect. So a good thing now to do is to update the status view here on top to show the correct message or the error message. So we have the status label, if you recall, we did it in the scene builder. So I'll go back to the controller. I'll create a simple method. You will get that now. A private set or show message. Private void show message. This message will take a text string message. And I'll say Boolean success. If this is true, it means it's a success message. Otherwise, it's a failure message. So here, after we add the employee here, add employee. Here's the add employee. I can call that method show. What did we call the method here? Show message. Show message. Okay, here. Add a new employee right here. Show message. A new, or I can get even his name. DM or employee dot get name plus added successfully. And I can now call the message. I still need one more thing. True, which is going to be success. Otherwise, else, I will call the message here. Show message. Get name. No need for the name now. I'll just type an error message. Of course, this one can be more complicated than that. Error. Error. And adding new employee. Okay, and now the message will be false. The status, success status will be false. Now here I will show the message. I'll say status label. If you recall, we did this long time ago, like 30 minutes ago. Like set text, the message. However, now, if it's success, we'll make the text green. Otherwise, we'll make it red. If success, then status lbl dot set text field color dot green. Else the color will be red. You can make beeps and all these error messages. Else status set text field error. And here will be red. Okay. So you will set the message on all cases. Then you will set this status on all cases. Let's run. Add the new employees and see what happens. Okay. We will add here a new employee. Okay. Tom Hanks. And his salary is 908. Add. So Tom Hanks added successfully. Clear. Let me add a new one here. and 90909, or whatever name. And instead of entering digits at the salary, I added text. Add, perfect. The exception was caught. The program is still running, and you see here the error message in red. So let's next let's do delete. Okay, let's do delete, and delete will be getting the employee object, asking the data manager to delete it, and remove it from the observable list of the table view. So I'll go to the delete button here. Okay, in the controller, not here. In the controller, where is delete? Handle delete, here, handle delete. So again, let's think about handle delete. What we need to do, we need to get the selected employee. We can get its index or get the employee itself. We need also to see what to do with both the table and the database. So first of all, I can say employee selected equals table emps view dot get selection model get selected item. So this is our selected employee. Next, I need to do now deleting the employee or something. We have this method available in our data manager, like delete employee or remove employee. This is my data manager here. We have some kind of remove employee. I just need the ID of the employee. So I only need the ID of the employee. So I'll go back to the controller here. So I'll say data manager dot remove employee and selected dot get ID. I only need the employee ID to do this. Once I remove the employee ID and the employee itself, I need to update my view. I think it's easier now maybe to call one method that we created before, which is show all employees. Yani once I remove something from the list, I can show all employees again. Show all employees will go and refresh the data from the tables or the database and restore all the existing employees. Let us see this in action. Now here I'm running the app again. We will take Tom Hanks, delete. Tom Hanks, bye-bye amigo. This is a message from the application. And I don't see Tom Hanks here. ABC testing, delete is also tested, removed. Let us also update the status here, the status label. Once we delete the employee, I'll go to the controller here. After delete the employee, I can call the same show status method I did before. So I call it what? With the same thing like here. Remove employee, employee get name, removed successfully. The name here is selected. And this is going to be true. Let me run this controller again. Last one, the application one more time. Okay, Tom Hanks, delete. Okay, by the way, it's not deleted because I should have called save data. Anyway, now we're gonna do it. Let's close this. In the controller here, in our data manager, we must do save whenever we do some kind of data change. dm.save all data. Let's run now our controller here. Let's see what we have now. We will see Tom Hanks again, but this time is going to be delete. Tom Hanks removed successfully. Delete. The new one removed successfully. If you change the department or see all, okay, clear. You can add a new one here, whatever. You need to test the functionality every few minutes. Okay, Tom Cruise now. I don't know how to type Cruise, but I think this is a good salary for him. Okay, Tom Cruise is added. And next will be updating the data. How to update the salary of Tom Cruise and all other guys. Again, update. Usually in update, we don't update the IDs. We update other information. We can consider this a record. So next thing is how to do the update. We can update name or salary. What is going to happen? We will take the new data from here after you change them. Here, if you want to change the name of names Tom Cruise to Scientology, you can click update. It will take the new information from here and replace it with the existing data. Let's do this now. I'll go to the update button, employee in the controller. Again, we need to get the employee now, not from the table. I need to get the employee from the panel. Let me run this again. This is very important. I need to get the employee from the panel because the new information will be entered in the panel, not on the table. So if you want to change Tom Cruise here, I will get the new information from here, not from the table. So I think I did a method to extract the new employee information. So let's see now, handle employee update. Okay, handle employee update. Here, update employee. Again, I will get the selected employee. Here is the selected employee. Okay, but no, not from the table. If you recall in the beginning of the class, I created a small method called getEmployee. GetEmployee, it will return the data from the text field. I'll take this to the bottom of the class. So this getEmployee, it will read the text fields and generate any exception if there is a problem. So here, the selected employee, it will be by just calling the getEmployee method. So the getEmployee method here, it will call the other method and return either null or a successful employee. Now again, we'll do the same thing. If selected, okay, is not equal to null, then I can now update the employee. If it's not equal to null, I can now call the data manager dot update employee, and update employee takes selected get selected dot get ID, and it takes also the employee object. It's actually going to update the data of the employee. It will not update the ID. If this is successful, then we need to call also the status message with a success here, updated successfully. Else, we are having a problem. We'll not do that. We will call it with a error message, and the message will be about that it's not possible to update the employee. I don't see where I did that. Okay, here, else, show message, error in updating employee data. You can write the name here or something like this. Let us save this. Let me run the app. So now once we are done with the update code, let's see if this thing is going to work directly, or maybe it needs one more fix. Let me go to Anwar here, try to change his salary to 888, update. Actually, the salary of Anwar has been updated in the data, but not in the table. So let's see what we can do here now. We can replace the item actually in the list. We can replace Anwar here with in the list, or call the show all employees method again. I know that the data has been updated in the table, in the files, but not in the table. See, because here you see Anwar again. Now we see it has been updated, but it was not immediately reflected. Let me do that again. 666 update is not shown in the table, but if you do something else and then you call the data from the table, you see the new data. So let's see how we can do that immediately. I'll go to the controller here and update employee, delete employee, handle depth change, update employee. I'm calling show all employees here, but you still can replace an item. There are so many ways, and you can also clear the view before you call it. But let's get the selected item index. So here, integer index is equal to, or let us just say Okay, let's get the index. Integer index equals emps view dot get selection model get selection model get selected index this time. Okay, so we know which item is selected. Let us see what methods we have here. Set index with the selected. So now the selected item, this is an array list. We replace the index with the selected one. Hopefully this one works. Let us run this. Let's go to Anwar again, change his salary to all ones. Perfect. It was updated immediately by just getting the index of Anwar and replacing it with the new employee. There are a few things here you might need to work on, like delete and update. They only can need to be activated or enabled when something is selected. And clear should not be enabled. The clear button should not be enabled if nothing here is here. So we will use binding for the delete and update. We will bind them to the selection of the table. If nothing is selected on the table right now, they should be disabled. Those two buttons must be only enabled if something is selected, because you're going to either delete or update that something that has already been in the table. This is going to be kind of a weird code, but it's worth doing it. I will go to the initialize. So for both of them, both the delete button, I need to bind it to some kind of the property. Let me show you that. I can say here now in the list, delete btn dot. Let's look for the properties. Disable property dot bind. I'm binding it to something. What's that thing? That thing will be the selection on the table. If nothing is selected on the table, then disabled must be true. So it will be bound to that. The selected items on the table are empty. So the syntax maybe is new to you or weird, but it's worth doing it, as I said before. So here we will be binding it to bindings dot is empty. Bindings is empty. And once we do is empty, we will call the emps view table dot get selection model get selected items. So if these items, if it's empty, let me just take the code into more than one line. Here, the disable property is bound to this. If this is true, then the disable property is true. If it's false, then the disable property is false. So the result of this, the delete button will be disabled if nothing is selected. I will do the same thing to the update button, and let's see it. Update btn. Update btn. I did this in the initialization because no need to change it. So let me run this now. Let me run this now. Okay, perfect. Nothing is selected here. See, this is done by binding properties. There are so many other things I explained in this tutorial can be done that way, but not covered in this course so far. Okay, excellent. Now, when you click on something, they are enabled. If nothing is selected, okay, they are disabled. If nothing is selected, then they are disabled. We can also change this. If nothing is selected here, if nothing is selected, I need to clear the data. No need to show anything. No need to show anything. Let's see how we're going to do this. So how are we going to work with this? We can make the clear button disabled in the beginning. And the clear button will be enabled if something is also selected in the table. Let's see this now. Do this. I can go to the initialize. I can say clear btn dot set disabled equals to true. Then if I run the app, let me run the app, save everything first. Let me run the app and see if it works. So the button, as you see here, is disabled. You only want to enable the button when something is selected. You only want to enable the button if something is selected. So we did already a method which is mouse clicked. So in that case, I will go to the mouse clicked method. Okay, and here mouse clicked, mouse event. This is update view, which is mouse clicked was here, action event, all of them, and this one. So when you click something, you need to update the view. If you update the view, then I can say here, same thing, clear btn.set disable to false. So if something is shown, which is in this method only, things will be shown, we will set it to true, enabled. Otherwise, it's disabled. Let's try to run this. Now it's enabled. Clear. Okay. When you click clear, you will clear the data from here. So it makes sense once you click clear to disable it again. So I'll go to the disable button event, which is here, clear. When I do clear, handle clear data, I will now set it to disabled. True. Let's do this now. Run this again. So whenever I clear the data, no more data is available. Good. Now it's activated. Clear, disabled. Clear, disabled. One more thing. I maybe let's do update 8888. Update this guy. It's updated. A good thing also, if after you do update, you want to clear this, because the guy has already been updated. Same thing you might need to do with delete and add. You need to clear this. Now you know how important it is to create a simple method to do that. So after I do update, after I do delete, after I do add, I will call the clear data. The clear data will clear everything and disable the button. Let's do handle update. Okay. Handle update here. I will call clear data. After I do update, I will also call the clear data. After I do delete, I will call the clear data after I successfully add a new employee. If not successfully, keep the same data. Maybe just need to modify one field. Let's do a run again here. It's activated. Clear. Okay, let's add a new one. Add. Perfect. It's cleared. The guy is added. Let us update. Change his salary. 888999. Update. Added. Updated. Cleared. Let us delete him also. Delete. Also updated and cleared. So it now makes sense which events are, which buttons are active or deactivated. They are activated only when you need them. If nothing is selected, for example, this one is what is disabled. Good. Hopefully you learned from this one. By the way, let me just finish with this example, with this statement. Sorry. There are so many other ways to do this. This is, I believe, level 1 of doing those graphical user interfaces using JavaFX with Scene Builder. Hopefully you learned something from this tutorial. Thank you.